GSL.
Welcome back, guys. It's time for the losers match here. Kind of an interesting situation to how Pet got here. Pet was supposed to be in the winners match.
Yeah.
But the gods of StarCraft II have frowned on him today. Action did have a good series against Squirtle, but now it's all going to come down to the ZVZ. So I'm interested, particularly in Pet's story here, the narrative. How does his day end? Does it end with an epic comeback where really he had Stork beat, then he beats Action, and then he finally beats Squirtle?
Yeah.
Or is it going to end tragically with either him losing to Action or then beating, the other possibility he beats Action and then loses to Squirtle? Because no matter what, I think most people would agree that, well, actually anybody who saw that game would just say, yeah, Pet should have won that. But, I mean, he pulled away too soon.
Yeah, it's a could've, that's a should've.
Yeah, we're going to go into the losers match now. One of these Zergs, his story ends here after this best of 3. Over here in the upper left, we have our Zerg player barely losing to Stork. He is not an equal, but a
Pet.
That's the best I can do. I had to fill there.
Not an equal, but a what?
A pet.
Oh, I get it. Okay, I was like, is that a math term on this one? Like, down here with a 9 pool.
Action.
Our nerds going crazy in here.
I'm going ballistic, man. I like when nerds go ballistic.
I like it when nerds get a little crazy.
I like it when they get excited about the players.
Yeah.
Let's see
good. I like it too.
Let's see if Pet fails a 7 pool and then gets killed by a 9 pool.
Yeah, so we got to see, when is Pet going to get his pull? Because this is a very aggressive strat here from Action.
Super aggressive.
Yep.
Hey, it's Scarlet!
It's Scarlet!
She's here!
Scarlet, sign my mouse pad! Oh my god!
She's here. She's watching.
All right, we got a quick hatch here. We're still waiting to see when that pull's going to come down. It's possible the Zerg will go gas and then get the pull.
Yeah. It's...
Oh my god, he's going to go gas and then get the pull.
Oh wow, 2 extra drones too. He might just die to the Lings alone. I don't know if this is going to be a Baneling pull.
We've seen some pretty good drone control from some of these players. Now the drone count right now, it's 11 to 15.
Yeah, he's just gonna make a hatch behind this too. He's not even really committing that much.
Yeah.
If he knew, he would, but of course he can't be certain. Even seeing the hatchery alone with his Overlord that he's about to see isn't going to tell him the pool timing. So,
and the way these Lings actually, the path they take there, you don't get a lot of time to really easily see before they actually show up.
See how many drones he can get here.
Okay,
17 to 11.
He should be saving the rest of his larvae now for Lings.
So
now, even just getting the hatchery to cancel is safe. Well, one problem is if you do go up and attack the drones, and let's say that doesn't go really, really well, like in your direction, then, it's really bad. So we're going to have a cancel. Oh, my God. Okay,
yes,
that's actually fine.
Right?
Well, you know what? It's actually okay. He has to get the Lings down there.
I guess he's just going to let it go.
Yeah, and this way he gets guaranteed to have some Lings up there.
Yeah, it gives him an extra larva. And he does have speed on the way right now. But he actually might... He's still going to have to use drones to fight here, if I'm not mistaken, right? He's just going to lose these Lings that get surrounded right as they pop out of the eggs. This is like... those 2 Lings coming up from the natural are going to make it a little bit easier for him to hold here. He's not going to die to this, but he just needs to minimize the damage as best as he can. And now he's a 1 hatch against 2 hatch.
Yeah, and that's really the important part here. Now we have a Baneling's nest with that. Oh, but nice job here hitting a lot of these Lings. That's a lot less Banelings later on. But finally, Pet does drive him back out, and he did not see the Baneling's nest.
Ooh. So this is going to be a cool, exciting game. He makes his own defensive Baneling nest just to be safe. Although I suppose he could just do like a slow Ling attack, but that's probably not going to happen.
Well, the Ling speed now for Pet is almost done here. Now, of course, when you have 1 hatch versus 2, assuming, let's say, both these hatches have queens at them for the player that has 2 hatches, that's double the production.
Yeah.
So, you know, Pet either has to get his hatch up like now or yesterday, or at least to stop his opponent from being able to utilize these hatches, because this is going to be a big problem in the long run.
5 Banes. He's been mining gas nonstop from that geyser.
Now it is 16 workers to 15. You can still optimally mine, you know, from your main with 15 workers.
Yeah.
So
the defensive Banelings are the key here, and I think with those, there's no way that he's going to break this.
Also note, this is a big berth over here. He does have the queens at the ramp. That's very important. He needs to space out the rest of these Banelings up here perfectly. Oh my God!
That's it.
That's it, man. I mean, wow, you could not get more of a bang for your buck.
2 for 5,
with those,
I think
yeah,
that was,
2
right?
for 5, yeah.
Oh, this Baneling is just going to go down to the
That's like
spine.
a Walmart deal, man. You are saving.
Yeah. That's like, I don't even, I'm like, that's like, and then I just can't say anything because there is no deal like that. Like,
That's the Dollar Tree right there, Wolf.
I'm like, were those 5 Banelings rotten? Like, is that how he got that
They
deal?
were like the dented cans in the grocery store. I mean, this is pretty straightforward, guys. We have a hatchery just now starting here for Pet. A hatchery that's been long finished here and looks quite secure. And, you know, the defense here for Action is actually, I mean, really good, man. He is not letting a single Ling through. He's zoning out the other Zerglings perfectly, and he's not overusing, you know, a high number of Banelings to try to do that, which is really nice.
These injects are going to hit, right? And then they're just going to start giving him way too much larva.
And we actually could have a counter roach attack here. Remember, that slowed production of not having the second hatch for Pet really hurts.
Yeah. Fast lair coming down here for Pet.
Yes.
I mean,
Well, Pet is most likely going to turtle up and just try to tech. I mean, once again, the pendulum shifts back now over to Action being the one who has the option to initiate. So, yeah, I mean, he's just going to stay back here for now and probably bank up some roaches. We'll see. He should have a good amount of larvae. Yeah, 11 larvae saved here. So, oh, and he's actually going to go for a layer himself as well here. It looks like the roaches may have been a little bit more of a defensive maneuver, just in case, you know, there was more attacking coming up here.
what do you think Pet's going to do with his lair? Because he doesn't have a roach horn. Do you think he's going to try to go Mutas? But he only has 2 gases.
Yeah, he's only got 2 gases for now, and he's not taking his 2 gases at his expansion.
Yeah.
So
he's
I mean,
going to do a Baneling speed all in.
Well, the Ling's again poking up here.
Okay, he's taking a gas now.
So you'd have what, 3 gases there.
I think he's just going to do it, I guess.
I mean, this is a guy with a very low number of drones right now. So yeah, he's going to go ahead and get the mutas.
I don't know if it's going to work.
That's not terrible. I feel like if Action went for mutas of his own, he would just have more mutas.
Oh, he would.
And he might actually just do that. It's, yeah, like we were talking about, it's very possible he just gets that roach warren as a just-in-case measure. I mean, if I'm a Pet right now and I even just see a few roaches up there, I'm not going to attack. And excuse me, he's not going to get his own Spire. He actually expands down here, which is totally fine. You don't need a ton of roaches to defend against a small number of Lings over here. So we have both these guys going in very different tech directions. One going for air, that's going to be Pet, and that's probably the smartest move. He's never going to be able to get a third base on his own in the position that he is. Yeah. I mean, all Action has to do is produce attacking units and walk across the map and stop them. I mean, and Action's going to just, oh, nice, man. These are money Baneling hits.
I think he's just going to try to punish here and maybe they make like 2 spores at home if he needs them. He's adding extra queens. Because Spore Crawlers, like 1 Spore Crawler can one-shot 2 mutas after the buff. Not obviously that strong, but it's pretty difficult to fight against spores.
He's going to go for a Nidus network.
It's going to allow him to reinforce so quickly.
Whenever you see a Nidus network on the way, I mean, you got to check where all the other overlords are for that player who's making the Nidus, the butt of the Nidus worm. And because you want to see where he has vision, so that's where he's going to plant the head.
Yeah,
that's right. That's what I assume. I assume that is the butt of the Nidus worm.
I think it is, man. They go back through the opposite way.
That's just how they do it, man.
That's what they like.
All right, so they roaches are going to come down here now.
He's got a lot of roaches here.
I have to say, I was a bit surprised considering there was a Nidus for him, but I guess he sees the opportunity here. And you know what's nice about this? His opponent's actually distracted. He might want to take the drones over there and attack that.
Yeah, I don't think he noticed it.
Okay, there's not enough time for him to stop this.
Queens are going to come out of this Nidus too, and they're going to help out. He's just in here now. There come the queens, and that's going to be too much anti-air.
This should just be GG.
Yeah, he's going to kill the Spire.
This is starting out to be a very bad day here for Pet, man. I mean, with the queens transfusing, the Mutas are so preoccupied fighting the queens, which are really taking an incredibly long time to die.
He's going to start making spores, it looks like, or I don't know if that drone was an accident, but...
that's going to be it. GG, yo.
GG, yo.
GG, yo. The honorific style. Nicely done by Action. Man, you know, Pet is having some bad luck today. I mean, I'm not trying to take away from Action's ability here or Stork's ability, but man, there have been some unfortunate plays here.
Yeah.
That opening build there from Action did give him a very good lead. That was smart. He identified that his opponent was probably not, you know, going to have an early pull of his own, so he got in there. He shut down the hatch. I don't think the idea behind how Pet was trying to recuperate there was bad, but my God, I mean, we saw those 2 Banelings hit the 5 of Pet's.
Yeah.
The game was definitely headed in the direction of Pet losing. I mean,
oh, yeah. I mean, you got to split your Banelings when you're doing an attack like this. You've committed everything to this attack, and you make a control mistake like that. And, I mean, that's like... I'm like struggling to find analogies for some of these things we're seeing in these games today.
Well,
for this one situation,
group, you know, specifically has actually had a bunch of very interesting plot twists.
I mean, doing a Baneling type attack with 5 Banelings clustered up against defensive Banelings, is losing all your Banelings is like going to the airport without your passport.
George R. Martin wrote this group, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Looks like we might have a technical problem here.
I think you are right. I believe we have one of our players running to the restroom. So we'll kill some time here before he gets back into the booth. I believe it's actually Pet. He might even be wanting to get a pep talk.
Do you prefer...
Go ahead, sorry.
Do you prefer late game ZVZ, or do you like the knife fight-esque Baneling versus Baneling type fighting?
Oh, you know, I always like the Baneling versus Baneling, or Ling versus Baneling, a lot of that back and forth. That's a lot of fun. ZVZ, early game throughout StarCraft history, has always been very exciting.
Yeah.
Because it is so volatile. You know, it's interesting because you have a lot of these very quick units that die very easily, and they have to be controlled perfectly, and 1 or 2 misclicks, and that's it. What about you?
I like the early game as well.
Yeah, it's very good.
I like anything that involves a lot of micro, a lot of really quick decision making that you have to kind of think on the fly. You know, for example, him deciding to let the natural die. He lost the hatchery. It just died early on. He was just basically...
I actually don't blame him for letting the hatchery die. I mean, that's a tough call, but, you know, it's a situation where seconds matter. I mean, how much more behind would he really be if he was actually to allow those Lings to go up there and attack his drones a little bit quicker? Sure, the Lings could have just left the hatchery and tried to attack the drones, but then there's a risk that the hatchery actually manages to live through that after the Lings hatch. And so we see the coach going in there right now and talking to Action.
Looks like our little banner there almost fell
I think our
off.
banner's coming down.
And Pet has a PC problem.
Yep. So whenever that PC problem's resolved, we'll obviously go right back into that game.
Yeah. We saw Hoja, the coach of Action, talking to him for just a second there.
Yeah.
They both looked pretty happy. I'm just like, I keep looking down because I'm like looking at the screen back there.
By the way, I really like that roach attack there at the end with the Nidus Swarm coming in like that. We've seen a lot of other games where they have the Nidus Swarm and they hide it and, you know, hope that it's going to not be spotted, and then bam, they pop out.
I like the idea of making it like outside the naturals more because it's safer that way.
Well, think about it though. He had 2 Overlords out, and I think there was one that was very clearly spotted outside the second. So, in general, yeah, sure, that's actually even safer.
Well, I mean, I just mean you can like protect it with your roaches. You don't need an Overlord for that. You just like make it next to your roaches, and then you just keep attacking with it.
Out.
But the idea, I think, with this one was I want the queens there like right away, ASAP in the main where the mutas are, and I want him. He brought a drone, and I think like if things went a little bit tougher, he might have tried to spore it up because spore callers just will kill
it's
queens.
Funny how this game turned out with the queens to be used as bunched together for a small window of time where they can take out air units. You know, with all the transfuses, you send 4 or 5 queens there from the Nidus Swarm. I mean, that's a lot of transfuses. That's very difficult for the mutas to actually win that fight, and that's one of the reasons why those Nidus attacks are just so strong. Our next map is going to be Habitation Station.
Down gold bases on this map can make or break ZVZ. if you let a player take a gold base for too long, then even if you try to hit a timing and punish them, as we've seen with Light versus Sue in the GSL semifinals, then you're just not ready in time and you die. I mean, or he is ready in time, excuse me, but there's extra minerals. So you have to either punish that really fast or take your own gold base in response. A lot of different types of scenarios occur here because roaches need minerals so badly. And if you allow someone that extra mineral mining, then they're going to have a lot more roaches than you.
Yeah, they certainly are. Well, let's see how these two guys approach this map. Pet needs a lifeline. He is very close from fading away here from the GSL Code A if Action wins one more game.